Warning, the following footage has been rated R. Not like that. Like a Deadpool film, okay?
So grab.
Oh. Bro, I'm literally an NPC. Standing around, wait for the show up.
So I did all of this build up, and I pressed call, and the line's busy. I did some, the piano was playing in the background. Okay, you know what? That's why I don't stream the Faceless art, guys. So I don't stream the... Now we sit here and wait. Welcome to my life.
There's so much more mystery to the character when it's not seen. Like Norman. Doing this one-off and can, you know, being an NPC and sitting in certain places, waiting...
No, just plain french fries.
...is one thing. And I say this with no disrespect intended. They're, you know, like smaller streamers. And they're involved. And you guys going out and finding them and finding all the interactions and calls and things like that. And going and giving them love and support is way more worthwhile than me streaming this.
Also, guys, I think it's kind of good that I don't stream my side because, like, there's no meta going on. Like, no one knows what the Faceless thinks. I think it's better, like, low-key. A lot of people think they know things, but they really don't, you know what I mean? Which makes it better.
Listen, I told you guys, okay? If you wanted a Norman stream, it's going to be a whole lot of old man standing around.
I try to straddle the line very carefully to give directions to people. I'll usually make them think, as TJ always has, and that's what I like to do, about the possibility of different options or options that they have to consider, and then come back to him. Because Norman's not always going to be there, and it gives a longer storyline. And so it just adds a little bit more context, a little bit more fluidity to it, and makes it a little bit more real, more alive, right? So that's why I don't mind sitting here as often as I do.
To disrespect the dead goes against what death is, right?
I play the Faceless in a very different way of Pigeon. Like, you wouldn't... No one here, like, people, especially my community, you wouldn't think, like, that's me as the Faceless. Because, like, the contrast is so different compared to Pigeon and how I talk.
I don't do promises. I don't do anything like that. I don't want to take up what Ziggy has going on Norman. I very much want to separate that. That is not my prerogative to try to take or to encroach in someone else's RP. I leave that to them. Right?
Listen, guys. Norman Bones lies, cheats, was a lawyer at one point. So the way things are phrased and the way things are worded, Norman's a piece of shit. Do not trust Norman Bones. Death, the thing that exists inside of him, that's fine. Death is neutral. He doesn't really care all that much. Norman Bones was a serial killer when he was alive, and he's still a piece of shit now.
So I play Charlie as well. I mean, I play like a lot of people you see I play, right?
The only time Norman has ever felt anything for literally anybody was his little brother Isaac, and that was just to try and protect him, and even that didn't work. Norman doesn't. Norman otherwise is unfeeling. He does not care.
Surely you guys can't tell this is me, right?
Like fucking shaking right now.
Surely you guys...
When I open the book, there's a name that I've been hearing all over the city right now. And
You know, Pestilence is the full name. A little ominous. So I know a lot of people call him Pesto. But for me, I've always referred to him as Pesty. And now we've got the Pesty Bestie thing going on, which... If ever anyone says that in character, I will plague them. Then and there, no cure, no nothing, there will be plagued.
I'm so happy, bro, because, like, I love slow burn story RP, and I feel like I really hope I'm doing a good job, bro. Like, every single thing the Faceless does, it's like multi-layered. The missions are not random, just random, hey, do this, and you get guns. Everything's linked, which is pretty cool. From the very first mission we gave out in 4.0.
I think for a hot second, like, the dude is literally a ghost. He is not a god, okay? It's a David versus Goliath, like, legitimately type story. Yeah, he's not supposed to be here. I mean, part of the reason that he is here, not just for, like, the berry side to it, but part of the reason is literally because Norman as Death has broken, you know, basic rules with it, right? TJ wouldn't exist if Norman didn't exist.
I hope people realize everything that I've done with the Faceless, even if it's big or small, there's always a reason and, like, there's always a multi-layered story behind it. Like, let me give you an example. That Faceless guy we shot, I don't know if he survived. I don't know where he's gone. But hey, he might have survived. I'm just saying. I wonder what that leads to. I don't know. Who knows?
I played TJ that he is free, right? When I say free, you have to understand the context behind that. I know that there's a war happening right now. It pops up in my Discord pretty frequently. I still own the ADMC's Discord, right? I know that's happening. And so when I say free, I'm not getting involved with their war. I'm not going to tell them what to do in their war. I don't care if Benji comes up here and threatens to shoot TJ. He's not part of their war. When I say free, it means he does not have a tie to the club other than the connections, per se, to some people. He does not feel like he needs to guide the club. He will guide people in the club, but he does not need to say ADMC needs to do this. He doesn't need to say ADMC is going in this direction, you need to change that. He's free from his responsibility as a high command member. So that's what I mean by free.
The reason that I am on NoPixel to begin with is because of Ziggy. And the whole idea of Isaac having a brother was because of everyone on Confused Devil's Conan server. Because Ziggy played Bones, and I played, well, I played a character called Dravius. And Dravius had a low voice as it was. He was very, pompous in a way. And some people kind of thought, oh, you sound like Bones. And that's where it all started. Fast forward 8 years, give or take. And not to get sappy, but yeah, I don't think if we did that, I don't think I would have been on NoPixel, and everything that happened in 2019 for me wouldn't have happened. So I owe a lot to you, Ziggy.
Norman is someone who paired himself with death because of his affinity to it. Norman felt his purpose was death, so he was able to do that. But because Norman could not let go of who he was when he was a man, which was someone who enjoyed the bringing of death, Norman was not a neutral party. Norman got a hold of death, became it, and they were tied to one another for a long time. But Norman did not remain neutral. He has abused his opportunity. And because of that, because there is a certain neutrality and balance that needs to be kept, Norman is being removed by death. This was never a fight Norman was going to win. Norman, in the grand scheme of things, is nothing compared to what the concept of death is. It's taking a little bit longer than expected. But he doesn't deserve that role.
I'm saying this now for future reference and kind of a formal approach to how I will be RPing on Outlawed. Do not anticipate or expect any relationship RP, and do not expect me to be the son or father or whatever to anybody.
This was me as well.
Oh, it's an attack helicopter in front of us.
That thing's gonna...
It's an annihilator, yeah. It's opening fire!
Oh, shit! Right, are we shooting this guy that was on the bike?
Can you please do the Bones voice, because how does your voice go that deep? I don't know. I don't use a voice change or anything. My name is Norman Bones. I am death.
Yeah, so a little context as to why I chose like a G-Man style voice for Pestilence. Obviously, if you remember Dr. Isaac, he had the snooty, self-centered British vampire kind of sounding voice. And he was, around here. It changed over time. So yes, Isaac is here. You may have heard Isaac, Norman, the other day. And now, when you listen to Pestilence talk, he has more. Something sinister. There is a slight tick in the voice pattern.
So, yeah, my voice hurt a lot yesterday. Trying to do a very distressed character, trying to do a very uneasy or uncertain character, took a shit ton out of me. I'm not sure how much more that I have in me to do that. There was a lot that went into that yesterday.
The whole, you know, what if Norman had good parents? What if Norman, you know, was treated, you know, this way or that way? Norman doesn't care about that. He never has, and he won't.
TJ is dead, right? TJ is perma. So keep that in mind. If you perma them, they ain't coming back, right? They're not gonna be like walking the streets like nothing happened. That's why TJ is what he is, because he has perma as a character. He should not exist. Once again, playing him like he doesn't exist over a period of time.
I'm telling you, alive Norman is scarier than dead Norman. Norman, while he's alive, he doesn't sit somewhere and he doesn't have these conversations. He doesn't make people go out and do things for him. He does them himself. He goes out and he is talking people up. He's posed as a journalist. He's posed as an old-timey photographer, as a private eye, whatever. And he'll take people's out into these remote areas where nobody else is. And then there was a point in time where he would take a picture of them, or he would write down their life story, and then he would kill them.
Can I ask why sometimes a ghost filter has a screen effect and sometimes it doesn't? It's actually really weird how it works. So, as you see it, depends on your monitor's resolution. And how I see it depends on my monitor's resolution.
Final Legion asks, quick question. If a scene becomes too much for the role player, is there some universal safe word? Presently, no. However, if somebody feels like it is too much for them to deal with, they are always free to get a hold of me and be like, hey, I can't do this right now. That has happened in the past. There have been times where people were like, hey, I'm dealing with a lot. Can we maybe put this on hold for a while? I was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, of course, I don't, you know, Norman can be a lot and it's really intense and I don't want to, you know, I don't ever want to I don't want, you know, people to feel pressured to do things like that. That's why almost every time you see me interact with anybody, if they do not already have a deal or a prior agreement, I'll just say, hey, you're free to visit. That's their choice if they want to show up. So if they're not feeling up for it, they don't have to show up. Or if they do have a deal and, you know, I know that there's a lot going on, I just won't ask them. That's the sort of that baseline I try to keep with Norman is like, I never want anybody to feel pressured to do anything. Nothing, you know, no pressure for their either characters or anything like that. Whatever choices that they make are their own. That's why, like, when Norman, you know, when people make deals with Norman, are like, all right, you know, go out and, you know, we say kill this person or whatever, right? But I always clarify within the deals, either you kill someone or you shed blood, which means you hurt somebody, which happens all the time in the server, right? Doesn't mean I'm not saying go out and force perma somebody so you can give me souls or whatever. It's just the pain that it causes, right? Norman isn't, or rather, Norman being the god of death isn't strictly the ending of lives, right? It is the ending of friendships. It is the death of families, the death of trust. Just all of those things can be categorized within Norman's purview. You get the idea. The death of clubs, the death of gangs. You get the idea.
Why did Faces stop making using skull mask? I mean, I kind of switch it, but these masks got made for the Faceless, so and also the colors of the mask also mean something. But obviously, I don't want to. It's what I mean. I don't want to tell you things because I want you guys to like learn as you watch people's POVs and shit.
If Norman were to get replaced, who would you want to replace him? I've always said that anybody has the capability of replacing Norman. The Norman's conditions to be gotten rid of, someone needs to be willing to perma their character and take Norman's place. Now, that being said, some stipulations as far as in-game goes, they have to be committed to being death. They have to make it their purpose. They have to accept those responsibilities, and they cannot be like Norman. They can't show up. They can't linger at the lighthouse. They have to be neutral and indiscriminate and not involved like Norman is. They have to be an invisible existing force. Anybody can do it, but it's a big commitment. Norman, the character himself, has always been about consequences. And if someone is willing to accept those consequences, face them head on, and embrace what it means to be that concept, they can have it. Otherwise, Norman will start to be torn apart and faded away.
Has everyone given Ghost TJ Coke? No.
What happened to Isaac? Isaac died. Not only did Isaac die, Pestilence let Isaac go. And there is no afterlife for Isaac. There is no afterlife for Norman. In lore, either you end up in purgatory or you move on to whatever you believe you deserve to be moved on to. Right? Like that's the idea. I try to avoid, diving into religious topics and not picking one thing or another because I don't want to decide what the what the afterlife is for people in NoPixel or whatever. So the in character explanation is you go where you think you are going to go. But for Norman and Isaac, because of who they are/were, they don't get that. They don't get to hang out in purgatory. They don't get any of that. They just go. There were some things that I didn't flesh out in 1.0 as Norman, and over time, with Norman having came back, I've gotten to flesh that out more. Norman 1.0, a brother was never mentioned. Only up until like 2.0 and 3.0 was Isaac more of a figurehead. Things get to be fleshed out over time. Is Norman the only reason TJ's around? Not the only one. Not the only one.
Is Pigeon and Faces the same person? No, it's not. It's not the same person. It's not the same person. Pigeon. I'm not Pigeon. This isn't Pigeon. Or is it? Oh my god! You would never know! Oh my god!
What led to your concepts for Norman/Death as characters? I watched, I don't know who all, if any of you were here watching Roleplay when family RP was a big thing. Classy Packs played a character called Richard Oakes, who was a serial killer. Classy Packs played Richard Oakes, and it was one of the coolest most immersive storylines that I'd ever seen, and I got my inspiration from him. I, in high school and outside of high school in my own personal time, studied psychology, and in particular psychology on serial killers and why they did the things that they had done. I studied a few different ones, trying to get a better understanding of, how a character like that in roleplay would be played out. And tried to implement that in Norman.
It's like, obviously, it doesn't make sense to use Isaac's voice. Isaac has been dead for however long, to the point he's a skeleton in Purgatory. So I had to adjust and adapt, and funnily enough, during December, I'd either fall asleep or wake up to, like, Half-Life lore videos playing for whatever reason. I've never played the games. I've seen them, I know of them, I think I own them, never played them. And the one that it landed on was the G-Man, Mike Shapiro.
And he broke down the voice and the certain stutters and tics that he would have. The emphasis on certain words.
Lexi, so what the devs do, what the devs do is they spawn me the helicopters in my garage, and then I take them out. That's how I do it. So like, look, I got this in my garage.
How do you deal with characters that try to interact but not in a serious way? I just try and be as accommodating to those characters as possible. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes I'm too busy laughing.
I can't lie, bro. The hardest part is not like breaking, to be honest.
I've always been curious, like, what people think is going through my mind. Because it's like, obviously playing a dark character, a lot of people think, oh, I'm sure he's, he's emo, he's goth, he's in the dark headspace. No, I'm laughing my ass off. And then I see stupidity happen around me, and I have to maintain composure.
I've had people take me hostage as Norman Bones. It's so funny. When this happened, it is so funny because of course I'm gonna go along with it. Are you kidding me? That's hilarious.
Listen, all I'm gonna say is it's going to get more spicier. I have some things I want to do.
I know the answer, but will Norman miss Noxie? Lie to me. Want me to lie to you? Sure. Norman will miss Noxie.
Guys, I don't think you realize, bro, without Z, I would be like, bro, I'll be crying in a corner, bro.
But I do want to say thank you, everyone, for stopping by, for the show of support, and as well, thank you to the other players who have been involved in this so far. Obviously, it goes without mention, Ziggy and Z have been instrumental in all of this.
Big shout out to Z. For those of you who don't know who Z is, he's the NoPixel dev that has been helping us with all of this. Literally, anytime you see Norman, Z is probably with me somewhere nearby. Z also plays Noxie, the bird. Literally none of this would have been possible without him. Purgatory would not exist without him. The inside of this lighthouse would not exist without him.
Obviously, huge props to Z, who puts a lot of this stuff together. I had made a joke with it. He didn't really say too much about it, but I'm like, this guy's a director, basically. He puts everything together. He puts all kind of like the scenes together, the stage. He puts the characters together in a way. Like, Z's basically the director. We're just pieces in it and tell a story around it.
You know what's crazy? I've known Z, and Z's been helping out with Norman stuff for years at this point. Not once have I heard their voice. Not a single time.
Shout out to all the people that's helped with the extra bodies for more immersion. Shout out to Z, the dev that's been helping me this week. And bro, all the RP is involved, man. Hope everyone's enjoying it, bro. Archon, Warlock, Peppo, Easy, Speckle.
I have a laundry list full of names of people who are incredibly talented who have decided that they would be involved with Norman in any way. And that list spans years of time. I am very grateful, and I'm trying not to be like cheesy or tear up at all. I cannot believe that it has gotten to this point.
Big shout out to like Buddha for letting me even be a dungeon master. Hope I'm doing a good job, you know what I mean?
There's not enough good things I can say over the past few months, from Z's side to it, to Coil and Sincere, to allowing me to do it. Like I said, Z truly has been like a director in all this, puts it all together.
I just really want to say, dude, whoever is running all this Faceless stuff, thank you so much for including my character, man. I'm doing my best to like return the favor, but thank you so much. Dude, this is so sick to be a part of.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. You are one of the goats, man.
Oh,
Props
okay.
to Ziggy, chat. This guy's dialogue is on a whole nother level, bro.
I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know.
You have that movie level dialogue.
Yeah, that's very nice.
You and Edgar, man.
I have so much love and appreciation for Osvaldo, for Perry, for Forte, for I'm gonna miss names. I know I'm gonna miss names. Obviously Oshira, John, Fred, Shang, the fact that he pulled out references for like actual history, the dancing plague and things like that. I was like, where were you? Where were you in 2.0? In 3.0? Where were you?
Such a good monologuer, man. How does he come up with these lines, bro, without stumbling one bit?
Mungo last night, and when I kidnapped him in 3.0 and had a conversation with him in the Vago's torture room, and even when I had another conversation with him on top of a mountain, might have been some of the most immersive RP that I've ever taken place in. 100%. His tone inflection, his emotion that he puts into it, the care behind it, that's what I think people should strive to be. Peppo, obviously. Ziggy, all those guys. So I sit here as I play like this dull version of TJ that doesn't feel anything. And it's like, shit, can I incorporate more emotion into him?
Like, things like the Faceless storyline is, in my opinion, the kind of stuff that can revitalize a server. Because I can guarantee you, everybody who, like, enjoys RP is sucking this shit up, dude. Everybody involved in the Faceless storyline, I bet, has been loving it. Like, I give you a guarantee.
You are also incredible. Also fully capable of literally all of that. That shit last night you pulled with Sonia and Bobby and Alec and just literally all that happened. +1 to Guapo.
Nothing comes close to this. This blows anything we've ever done out of the water by a mile. I just feel so grateful, man, to be a part of this story.
I could legit listen to this guy talk about anything.
Separating him from me.
You can narrate a milk carton to me.
Literally, none of this would be possible without Z. Give it up. Give it up. Right? I know that I play Norman and I'm, a little edgy, scary guy. Okay? But Z has enabled literally all of this, from Norman to the Lighthouse to Purgatory to Noxy to Hope to all of the feathers and everybody interconnected with it. Actually enabled literally all of this. I just happen to be lucky enough to have people interested in the story, frankly.
If you kind of look at the scale, 0 to 10, right? That's the typical scale. And there's meant to be a balance. That balance is meant to be always equal. So that's why there's 5 white feathers, 5 black feathers. That's the beginning of that. And that's why, for the example in the book, you'll see that they're very equal. You'll see the white crow at the top. You'll see the black crow at the bottom. You'll see that they're joined together. It's supposed to basically emulate what is balance, the yin and the yang. Now, if you're not too familiar, the island that's directly over that way, if you can see my finger pointing to it, is also the yin and yang. You can see that this is the inverse of each other, right? So Lighthouse, living side. Lighthouse on the other side. And this is kind of like where the altar is for the other side to it. This right here would be where the brazier in Purgatory is. This is supposed to be the living side of Purgatory. All right? The other side is down below. You'll notice they mirror each other. This is the same layout. You'll notice on the other side, if you look to your right, the lighthouse is to your right in the land of the living. If you look in a mirror and you come up this way, the lighthouse is on the left. They are exact mirrors of each other. There's a lot of thought that goes behind this shit. And Ziggy just goats with it.
Last night was a lot of fun. Behind the scenes, a lot to juggle. A lot to do very quickly. A couple of hiccups, but luckily it went over smooth enough. So we take those.
Yeah, I was talking to him this morning and basically said, like, yeah, I didn't really get to see what happened last night, by the way. He was too busy from a dev perspective doing everything that needed to happen.
Z, shout out to Z, who was the MVP throughout all of this, really enabling all of this to have happened in the first place. All I have done is line these characters up for this cool shit. Z has provided the atmosphere and the setting for all of this. Nothing was scripted. All that I had did was say, hey, I DM'd Varric, who played AK, and Hole, who played Aaliyah, and I was like, hey, can you guys be here at this time? You're going to see Edgar again. You know, you're gonna be in this place. Go nuts.
This is what he sent me last night while he's sitting in Purgatory waiting. So I'm sitting there just doing this, and he's doing like the similar type ones back and forth. We're literally sitting in Purgatory doing this between the two of us. Not saying a word, by the way. We didn't say a single word. We were waiting for Edgar to stop talking because I wasn't going to walk up in their conversation, right? I want to be respectful of the person's conversation. And so did he, right? So the two of us are sitting in Purgatory having like an argue off that was silent. That's what was happening between Captain and I last night.
The Faceless reveal was wild. Yeah, that's an interesting turn to all of this, and it is exciting. I hope you guys enjoyed that.
Where is he? Ah!
It is fun to watch people theorize. Is the Faceless the Horseman of War, or what that may bring with it? The conflict, the fighting, the discovery, the need to find out what it is, conquest, if you will. Maybe. Anyway. Doc, who was on TJ, coordinated with Z, getting in and out of there, being a part of all of this.
So the smoke rolls in. TJ's over there. I did not plan this, by the way. I was just kind of around the server. I knew like some shit was supposed to happen because it was 5 days from when Edgar was saying it. Didn't want to interfere with anything. I'm not trying to play a hero. I don't want to do that. I don't want to take away from Ziggy's side to it. I don't want to take away from Edgar's side to it. I'm not going to be like, oh my god, stop. No, just let it happen.
This is such good closure, I think, for them both, in a way.
DJ says to me that you must hope.
Just as an aside, a little behind the scenes in this exact moment, me and Z are juggling what to be doing because Sonya is, still down. Jay is still down. There's a bunch of people at the lighthouse. TJ's involved. We need to get him in position for, him to see Sonya. Is Sonya going to Purgatory? Is Sonya being, helped by Alec or TJ or anything like that?
Like when you saw, for example, Sonya going in and out yesterday, kind of breaking down some of the movie magic, but that was Z obviously teleporting Sonya back to TJ back and forth. And so that was not planned. None of that was something that we discussed at all, but felt like it added to the moment of being there so that I didn't need to be in Purgatory with them. That was their own scene. So I was happy to contribute to it on the other side because here's someone else and I'm going to make sure that they're continuing the RP around it. So Jay gets taken out. I don't want to leave Sonya there, not getting any RP from it and just ending up on an island. That's not fun for anybody. I sat here. He just goes, hey, I might bring her in and out of Purgatory. So the entire out loud monologue that I was doing was not planned. I'd never thought about doing it. So it was as I could come up with it, basically, to explain what was happening to the character. As I'm doing these things, you're telling them what is changing in the environment around them, why the environment is changing. What is your decision to make? And she made the decision to live. This was completely foggy. Everything around was fog. Once again, prop to Z and being the director of all of this shit sets the tone and sets the scene. I don't think you could have seen us from the hill. I legitimately don't.
Z's having to zip back and forth all around the map to try and make sure that people are in place the way they need to be put in place. I'm trying to coordinate between these people. Like, all right, you need to be here. At what point does Z come back and, you know, make sure Aaliyah isn't invisible anymore so that Edgar could see her for her to pop up? Literally, I'm not kidding. Like directing a scene. None of this is scripted. None of the dialogue is scripted.
The only thing that was scripted about any sort of this was probably about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. I had sent out messages to Varric and Hall and said, hey, listen, are you guys interested in doing this? Didn't give them any direction. Didn't tell them to do anything. They said, hey, if you're interested, go for it.
The rest of it was Z just going absolutely insane, putting people in place to be a part of all of this. I think a lot of people are like, well, you know, this obviously this is scripted, you know, people were going to die, this or the other. I had an idea of what was going to happen, but anybody could have made any different choices at literally any time to change the exact outcome of this. And it managed to work out the way we thought it was going to work out, the way we hoped it was going to work out. But I mean, the police could have, you know, raided and broke down the door or whatever. The you know, Jay couldn't, you know, Jay, he could have not brought Sonya there, and then the boys could have kidnapped her and kept her away from the lighthouse. Then it would have just been me and Edgar, or Edgar could have decided that, fuck it, I am going to kill Sonya and I'm going to walk out of the lighthouse, whatever. It could have been any number of things, and it ended up working out like this. Dude, to anybody who says Roleplay is dead, you guys are wrong, okay? Okay, you guys are just wrong, all right? Roleplay's not dead. Well, I mean, Edgar's dead, but Roleplay, not so much. So long as people, the role players that are around me, are enjoying it, and I get to be a sort of quest giver, probably the worst quest giver that has ever existed, then I'm okay with that. As long as it gives someone something to do that isn't just the normal day-to-day humdrum. Does it cause conflict? Yeah, but conflict in roleplay is sick. It is. I want there to be an ending for them, and there is a way to do it. Either it will be Norman fading away himself, or someone will replace him. I loved Norman being like this boogeyman, but you know, all things must come to an end, including him, especially, you know, given the lore that surrounds it. I've played this character for so long, and I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm excited to put him to bed, which I think is happening very soon.
Listen, guys, thank God I had Z on standby, because if Z wasn't around, I hope you know, I would have to have spawned in Pulido and swam to that island. Thank God. Thank God I F8 quit on the island last night, bro. Holy f.
So this is a Croix watch that I typically will give people if they have conversations, or if I kind of allude to time in conversations. That is something that we'll give them. The watch is kind of symbolic from TJ's side. He'll usually use some sort of line around the perspective of time's always ticking, make sure you use it correctly, etc. Right? No idea that was an actual thing until Z gave it to me.
Also, I think throughout the last 3 weeks of this Faceless, like, because I've been going really heavy on it, I think I've spent $500,000 on Pigeon for helicopter repair kits.
The only reason I have $7,000 on TJ is when I didn't have any support from Z, for example, I would have to go buy food at times. I would have to go buy water from a vending machine. That's how I survived off him for a bit. Here's our Uber Z's. You know? We got our Door Z delivery, you know? I have a command that allows me to do all those things. There's 3 modes. Ghost is this mode. Invisible is completely invisible. And then off is that. So that is how all this works. And this is the result of Coil and Sincere. So you see it on top right, successfully toggle ghost mode for TJ. I can do this to whoever within the server as well. Probably seen me do this a few times to other people. I can make them disappear, change them into ghosts, etc., and change it back.
So the RP behind this plane, right, is just like show face of the faceless, right? It's like to show everybody in the city, you know, we're always watching. But guys, I don't think you understand what I need to do, bro. Cause I can't just spawn the plane. Bro, I have to get it out of LSI, then I got to ocean dump it. Every time I put it out, because the fuel goes like this.
And also, if you guys...
There is no fuel in this plane.
Invited by Naxi? Well, I kind of thought about it for a second. We were doing the conversation, not to kill, you know, peel back the curtains real quick or anything. Sorry if it might ruin that a little bit too, but yeah, Z messaged me during it and he's like, hey, do you want me to like set fire to your character at any point with this? I was like, yeah, go ahead, just do it now. And I wasn't sure if I was supposed to be like a Naxi burning him away or like TJ disappearing. And so I was like, huh, wait, now that I think about this, probably Naxi like burning him away type of thing. But I wasn't sure. I was like, wait, hold up. Was this like a theatrical thing or was this like a cool effect? Or wait, hold on. How? So I probably didn't do as much justice, but he asked me while it was going on. I was like, yeah, just go ahead. Like, you can start it now. Like, just set him on fire. Fuck it. So sorry if it kind of ruined some of the magic behind it, but yeah, he asked me before he did it. I was like, yeah, sure, fuck it.
Who liked the torture scene? That was good. It was unplanned though. The murder cat. The murder cat was unplanned. I just heard it growl, and I was hoping like when I said strike, it struck. I think that was Buddha. I think Buddha was the murder cat. This good old torture room, cinema.
So chat, I don't know if Z's on or not, but I don't have the protective feather. So I have to run this way to get over there because guess what? There is a fucking murder kitty over there and my character model will still get eaten. So I gotta go this way. And if you think for a second that hasn't happened, you're wrong.
I don't think you realize what we have to do for this, bro. I had to go to LSIA. I had to get the chopper out. I have to pray that a cop doesn't see me pull out an attack helicopter because, you know, it just doesn't make sense. Like, you know, I don't have to explain that. So a lot of moving pieces behind the scenes. So just know, hey, we try go crazy here. But ZXEEE, can't thank him enough, Mo. This week would have been so impossible.
So you want to see where my bullshit goes? This is where the bullshit goes. Oh, where'd the book go? There used to be a book here too. Yep. That goes there. Right next to the fucking unicorn. Rats and unicorns living together. That's where I put it. Alright. That's the bullshit.
Hold on. Let me show you this, bro. This shit is so... If you know... Now, you guys know that... I will tell you the backstory. I was so sad. I wanted to come down in a helicopter. Look what happens instead. I wanted to make a cool scene for ADMC. Cargo Bob comes down out of nowhere, you know. But instead, we have to compromise. This is what happens. This is what we had to do. Bro, we just bro, we just walk in there, bro. We just walk, bro. I don't think you understand what happened, bro. It was so funny. I was so sad, bro, because, like, little do they know, we had to swim from sandy shores in that ocean behind them. And then I just walked, bro. Let me give you what I have to do before Z started helping me out a lot. This is what I had to do. This is POV of Capped. Waking up at like 3 in the morning to give some cool RP to people. I have to run in this outfit. I have to run, run all day. I had to go here for, by the way, Edbert's mansion is crazy, bro.
I can smell you. I can see you creeping around. You just can't see me. I may only have a measly shiv, but it's most effective when applied to the jugular. Morgan Freeman.
I had to run from the apartments just to make this scene look cool. This is really cool, though.
Oh, stop!
I didn't even see this clip. I should have done slash me out of breath, slash me sweating from the forehead. Let's just say it was a lot of F8 quitting and mechanicking through doors. Let's just say it's been hey, every time I popped up to Edgar's house, I had to fucking mechanic in the door, bro, like an egghead.
He's an entity. As much as he is starting to understand technology, it doesn't make sense.
If I wanted to talk with you, I would either find you or... I'm sure you can figure it out.
Yo, oh my god, hey, I don't have a menu, but I can do this though. Can I blend in properly? Yo! Wait, how do I crouch? Oh! The manhunt day, I didn't eat because I had to just stay on it, like, you know, make sure everything's all going well planned and shit, going good. And then on top of that, when we did like decoy shit, that was meant to last like 2 hours, bro. That lasted 12 hours and I forgot to eat. Look at this shit right here.
Okay. No, we're in the center. We're just in the center to have better eyes.
Oh, the plane blew up! Yo!
The plane blew up!
Get in.
Let me tell you how I did that. That plane is on Pigeon. I had to log on Pigeon, fly the plane there, F8 quit, go my other character, run there. Let me tell you how I blew it up. I threw a grenade at it and F8 quit. That's how I had to blow it up. Welcome. Hashtag give Cap the menu. Come on. Brother, what's going on here, brother? Come on, brother. Come on.
Hey, Ziggy, I'm the Faceless. Like, oh my god, like, what are you doing?
I'm certainly glad people have enjoyed Pesty.
I'm never saying that in character again. Just saying. Just.
This boost is actually not that bad, you know. I love Z so much. You know, I love Z, man.
Do stay safe. I'll be watching.